Oh, hi, in this video I just want to show you, make sure you're all going okay with your calculators in degrees and radians. Firstly, go home and click onto settings and have a look at your document settings. Now look at what the angle says. Is it degrees or is it in radians? Don't worry about gradients for now, radians or degrees. At the moment I'd recommend you have it in degrees and click on make default, and that will make sure that any time you open a new document or use your calculator, it will always be in degrees. So just make sure it's set to that. That's what I recommend for now. Towards the end of this year, the start of next year, I would recommend that you change that to radians, because most of the time you'll be working in radians. So make default, and that'll say, are you sure you want to do that? Okay, no worries. Go back to your current document. Now, the way to check whether you're in the right mode is to do something that you know. So we know that the sine of 30 degrees is equal to a half. So let's just do sine of 30, and it should give you half. Now, if you're in radians mode, that will give you something a bit strange. It'll say sine 30 is equal to 0.09 or something like that, something weird. So just do that as you check before you get started on any trig problems, and you go, yep, it's all working fine, no problems. That's telling me the sine of 30 degrees is half. Okay, now let's say you've got it set to degrees and you're all happy, everything's working well, but then you get a question on radians and you want to know, say, cosine of 30. What's the cosine of, what's the cosine, oh, let's just choose something else. Let's do the cosine of 2 pi on 3. And so you enter in cosine 2 pi over 3. And this is in radians, and so how do you tell the calculator that you now want to use it in radians? If I press enter now, it'll do that, and if I press control enter for approximate, it gives me some strange answer, and we know that's not right. And so if I'll just copy that, enter. How do I tell the calculator we're in radians? You press the pi key and click on R for radians. Now in our class we used a little C for the symbol for radians, but the calculator, it's American, it has the little R for that. So if you press enter now, you get negative a half, which is the correct answer. So that's how you use radians when you're set in degrees mode. Fantastic. The only other thing is, what if you're given an answer, like say you get an angle of, say, 3 pi on 4. Let's just type that in, 3 pi on 4, 3 pi over 4. Let's say you've got that and you want to convert that into degrees and you don't know what it is. Okay, so 3 pi and 4, how do you convert that into degrees? Firstly, tell the calculator that you want that to be radians, so 3 pi and 4 radians, and we want to convert that to degrees. Go to your little book. There's this little book icon. That's a list of all the commands in your calculator, all the different commands. If you scroll through, you see all the different ones, heaps of different commands. And what we want to do is convert that to decimal, so click on D for decimal, and sorry, I meant degrees, D for degrees, and this double D here is probably the command that I use the most on the calculator, this double D command here, which means convert something into degrees. So you click on that or press enter, whichever, and then press enter, and that converts 3 pi on 4 into degrees. And that's really good if you get an answer in radians and you want to know, oh, what's that in degrees? Use that key. Okay, so that's using the calculator in degrees mode. Similarly, and I don't recommend doing this, but if you've got your calculator set to, and you might if you're doing your 12 methods and that sort of thing, if you've got your calculator set to radians, so I'll just show you the other side of this, but disregard this if you're not doing your 12 methods. But so if you go back to this now, and so now we're in radians mode. Let's just see what happens when we do sine 30. Sine 30 gives us that, and if we press control that, it gives us some strange answer. And so this is the clue that you're in radians mode, because sine 30 degrees is not negative 0.9, so you're getting mistakes there. Okay, so we're in radians mode, so let's just try instead, let's try sine pi over 6, and that should give us half. So sine pi over 6, and if we just press enter, then the calculator is, yep, half, because it knows we're in radians mode. So there you go. Again, if you want to convert, or if you're in radians mode but you want to do degrees, again, just do type in degrees. So if we want to do cos of 25, but it's not 25 radians, it's 25 degrees, hit the pi key, hit degrees, and press enter, and it will give you your answer there. Okay, so really important to know how to work between the two. If you're in radians mode and you get the answer in degrees or something like that, so let's say 30 degrees, how do you convert 30 degrees into radians? Well, again, go to the book, radians, click on R for radians, and we want to convert, so you have to scroll down a couple, I think. Here, this one here, convert into radians. So press enter or double click. 30 degrees. Oops, I should have put a 30 degrees. I need to put a degree symbol to tell the calculator I want degrees into radians, and it gives you pi on 6 radians. Okay, so know how to switch between radians and degrees. Understand what your calculator is doing. It's a really important skill, and it's probably one of the things that students muck up most often. Any questions, please come and see me.